And shifting focus to Russia-Ukraine, US President Donald Trump has backed away from a Thursday deadline, November 27, that is, for Ukraine to agree to the US-backed peace plan aimed at ending the war with Russia. Here's what the president said. Listen in.
I don't have a deadline. You know what the deadline for me is? When it's over. And I think everybody's tired of fighting at this moment. They're losing too many people.
Ukraine has said that a common understanding has been reached with the US on the peace plan, a 28-point plan which was presented to Kyiv just last week. The American and Ukrainian officials worked on the plan during the weekend talks in Geneva this past weekend. In a post on social media, Trump said that the original plan has been fine-tuned with additional inputs from both sides. He added that he's directed his special envoy Steve Witkoff to meet his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. Witkoff will meet the Russian president in Moscow next week and may be joined by Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. This as US Army Secretary Dan Driscoll meets with the Ukrainians. Now, Trump also expressed hope to meet soon with Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky, but only when the deal to end this war is final or is in its final stages. Now, some of the issues which Russia and Ukraine are still deeply at odds over have reportedly remained unaddressed so far, including settlement of territories. The Kremlin had previously said that Russia had not been consulted on the new draft deal, which has come out after their meeting in Geneva, warning that Russia may not accept amendments to last week's plan, which was in fact presented to Russia. Zelensky said he's counting on further active cooperation with the American side and with President Trump. The Ukrainian president said that much depends on America, reasoning that Russia pays the greatest attention to American strength. He accused Moscow of cynicism for carrying out deadly strikes on Ukraine during intensified diplomacy to end the war. Zelensky leveled the accusation in his evening address after Ukrainian officials reported Russian strikes which killed 7 people in Kyiv.
Last night, there was yet another massive attack on our country, so we cannot relax or forget that Ukraine still needs defense support, security support of our resilience every day. And as long as Russia has not taken real steps toward demobilization, real steps to shut down its war machine, steps that would clearly show that Russia is serious about ending this war of aggression, we do not have the right to stop working to support Ukraine.
In a speech made via video call to allies, the Ukrainian president urged European leaders to hash out a framework for deploying what he called reassurance forces to Ukraine and to keep backing Kyiv for as long as Moscow showed no inclination to end the war. French President Emmanuel Macron warned that Russia had not shown any willingness to discuss an amended version of the US plan resulting from talks between representatives from the US, Ukraine and Europe in Geneva last weekend. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that London was ready to move with the European Union on providing financial support to Ukraine based on the value of immobilized assets. And there is more on this from our correspondent and my colleague Susan Tehrani, who has sent us this report from New York.
President Trump says that the Ukraine peace push has entered the final stretch, sending his envoy Steve Witkoff to meet with Vladimir Putin in Moscow, while U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll heads to Kyiv later in the week for talks with Ukrainian officials. President Trump says that the original 28-point U.S. drafted plan has been refined with input from both sides, leaving only a few remaining points of disagreement.